How we doing, guys? Richie of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Wanted to go over some of the happenings in today's Week 8 NFL action. Really a performance for the ages. I'm not sure if people truly understand how great of a game this was. Christian McCafferey, run, pass, and catch CMC. The guy did everything today. The first running back to throw, rush, and catch a touchdown pass since LaDainian Tomlinson did that in 2005. Truly a tremendous performance. And the 49ers continue their dominance over the defending champion Los Angeles Rams. A game that the Rams, I really think, needed, and a game that the 49ers were just not going to allow them to have. I think that what we saw today is a lot of what to expect down the second half now with the addition of Christian McCaffrey. He's really fitting into that offense in a big way after a disappointing debut last week. When you come to a new team, I believe that, you get a pass with your first game because there's so much to just get the knowledge of. Playbooks are complicated, but Christian McCaffrey, just a phenomenal game. And oddly enough, the one victory that the 49ers do have against the Rams, or rather the Rams over the 49ers, was actually in last year's NFC title game. But during the regular season, just utter domination of the Rams. And I've said this on many shows, the Rams are not the same team that they were a couple of years ago or even as recent as last year. And it's showing. I think it's going to be a big stretch for the Rams to make the playoffs, let alone have a chance of defending their Super Bowl title in January. NFC East only had one team lose today. That was my team, the New York Football Giants, dropping a tough one in Seattle, 27-13. The defense kept the Giants in the game as long as they possibly could. I believe that today's loss is evident that if the Giants want to keep pace in this division, they are going to have to go out and get a wide receiver. I don't know if it's going to mean parting with maybe one of the recent pick that they obtained from the Kansas City Chiefs in the Kadarius Toney trade. Giants are also down to tight end and a couple of linemen. On a positive note, it was great to see Nick Gates out there. Nick Gates returning from the horrific leg injury that he had a year ago. Really awesome to see him out there. Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, Mike, I would have to say that is the guy that I want as a fan. I think ultimately it comes down to Denver's asking price. I'd be more than happy to part with one of those third-round picks if we can get Jerry Jeudy in the building. He would change the offense completely because, quite frankly, while I commend the Giants coaching staff for this 6-2 start at the midway point, yes, they do have a connection going back to Alabama. I'd love to see Jerry Jeudy in a Giants uniform. It really depends, Mike. It really depends. I think it could happen. But yeah, very evident that the way the Giants got off to a 6-2 start is not going to be sustainable in the second half of the year. They need a receiver desperately. Being down two linemen, Saquon worked very hard today, but every yard that he got, he definitely earned, and he was not able to have that breakaway play. And to be fair, were it not for a phenomenal play by Adoree Jackson stripping Tyler Lockett, setting up a touchdown right on Seattle's goal line 2 plays later for Saquon Barkley, I don't necessarily think the Giants would have even gotten into the end zone. I know that in the New York tabloids and on social media, Richie James is going to take a lot of blame for what happened with his 2 fumbles on special teams. But quite frankly, when you score 13 points in the NFL game, you're not going to win too many. And, 6-2 going into the midway point with no expectations coming in and very limited cap space. I think the Giants are in a good place, not just for the stretch run given their schedule, but also for the immediate future when they get some cap relief. The Dallas Cowboys, signature performance from Dak Prescott today. I'm not surprised that they were clicking the way they were, but when you think that what Dak Prescott can do when he's healthy, when he is clicking with his receivers, and the fact that the Cowboys do have a phenomenal defense, they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. And I definitely think as of right now, the way the standings look is the way that they should look. The New York Football Giants, definitely the Cinderella of the bunch. But the Cowboys and Eagles, the two most complete teams. And as I already stated, if the Giants have any true intentions this particular season, they have to address the wide receiver position as well as in next year's draft. Yeah, I agree with that, Zap. I also want to make a mention of the Washington Commanders. They recently changed quarterbacks, going back to Taylor Heinicke, who actually has some experience in the playoffs. The year that Alex Smith was not able to finish the year out, the team responds to him. After starting 1-4, they are 4-4 now, and definitely have an opportunity and a chance to be the final wild card, if not even better. I mean, there's a whole half of a season left, but it is very realistic that the NFC East can send the entire division to the playoffs, which would be pretty remarkable. A lot of football left to be played, and I'm going to be very interested in seeing where these deadline deals take us. We're going to see a lot of player movement, or at least a couple of deals that are going to be pretty interesting going in. For game of the day, I would probably say this right here. Vikings holding off the Arizona Cardinals. I actually did pick the Cardinals to win this game. They lost by a possession, lost by 8. Very entertaining game. And I ask, is this a playoff preview? Now, the Cardinals are 3-5, so they've got some work to do. But with the return of DeAndre Hopkins, I do believe that the Cardinals might have a chance, if they should get hot towards the end of the year, to snag that final 7 spot. You got to mention Washington, as I already said. They are definitely in the mix. But I have a vibe that this could potentially be a rematch, because Minnesota essentially is 2 games behind Philly when you consider that they did lose head up to the Philadelphia Eagles. The 2 seed, very much a possibility for the Vikings. I would not count out the 49ers just yet from even the 2 seed. It's going to be hard to truly see anybody catching Philly. There's plenty of football left, but barring injuries or something catastrophic happening to important cogs in their roster, I think it's a race for the 2. And I would have to say that given the mediocrity of the NFC South, the 2 is between, right now, in my opinion, the 49ers and the Vikings. And the Vikings definitely have the edge, plus the Vikings play in a less competitive division. And speaking of that division right now, the Buffalo Bills are up 14-0 on the Green Bay Packers. This was definitely a popular Super Bowl pick going into the year. But the Packers' issues are very evident. Going into the year, I think a lot of people felt like the Green Bay defense was going to be a lot better than what they are right now. That has not come to fruition just yet. And it seems like ever since the game in England against the New York Giants, Green Bay has just gradually sputtered. The offense has been – this is one of the more challenging years I ever recall for Aaron Rodgers. And, there's a lot of youth and a lot of health issues in that in that wide receiving corps. And right now they're just getting bowled over. They're getting overpowered. They caught a break here on a penalty, but it just looks like a truly overmatched situation. This is another team, the Green Bay Packers, that could be in the market for adding a receiver if they have any intentions of making the playoffs this year, because I don't know how patient they're going to be. Big picture wise, I don't think this organization's in a bad place, but right now at 3-4 and probably 3-5 at the end of this game, the Packers definitely have to consider making a play on a wide receiver, just as my New York Giants should also consider that. Bill Belichick, congrats to him, passing George Halas for number 2 on the all-time NFL victory list for head coaches. And, the Jets still can't figure them out. Mac Jones looked a little more comfortable today. Still has a ways to go. I was an advocate for keeping Bailey Zappi in over Mac Jones, but Mac Jones definitely looked a lot more comfortable today. The Jets, I still think, are in a good place. They're 5-3. Pats are 4-4, but got to be disappointing for Jet fans in the sense that you kind of have the Patriots where you want them. For years and years and years during the Tom Brady era, the Patriots have ran that division up until late in Brady's career. When he lost some of his weapons, they were aging, and Buffalo was coming right behind them on the rise. And this is now Buffalo's division. Miami, while in a better place, still not quite the threat to Buffalo. Buffalo, Philly, Dallas, those are your three best teams in the NFL, in my opinion, right now at the midway point. And obviously, you have to consider the Kansas City Chiefs as well. Any team that has Patrick Mahomes always has a chance. Packers are currently driving. I'll keep you guys. They're on the 23, and they're driving 1st and 15. About to snap the ball. I'll give you a little update here. What's happening? Inside handoff to Aaron Jones to the 18. Green Bay definitely needs to score here. I also wanted to make a mention of the progression of Geno Smith. This is a guy who lost his job some years back with the New York Jets. Kind of had a wrap around the league that he was incredibly immature. He got into an altercation with a teammate. His jaw was broken. That ended up being the end of his time with the New York Jets. But it looks like he's really found a home in Seattle. And, a big controversy surrounding Geno Smith, which is unfortunate for him, was that he was the quarterback who got the start in a game that's a touchdown, I believe. Is that a touchdown? Waiting for an official signal. Yes, it is. Hell of a throw by Aaron Rodgers, finding Romeo Doubs in the corner of the end zone. That's a nice response. 12 plays, 80 yards, 8.5 minutes off the clock. Nice drive by Green Bay. Hell of a throw. 14-7 Bills. My apologies. Geno Smith, he's come a long way. Perfect fit for that offense, and showed a lot of humility in victory. He didn't have the best experience in New York getting the one start. The fan base was ready to revolt when Eli Manning, his consecutive start streak at the time, second in history behind only Brett Favre. The Giants fan base was irate. Ben McAdoo was run out of town, as was Geno Smith. And now it's Daniel Jones's team, and it was Daniel Jones's team a year later. We have a special guest that's going to be joining the show this coming week. Details to come, but definitely check for that. I will be giving you guys updates. I'm very excited to see how that goes. Final mention, the Vegas Raiders. They are bad. They are a bad, bad team right now. And I would have to say that at the midway point, they are probably the most disappointing team in the NFL. You could kind of flip a coin between them and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers lost Devontae Adams. He goes to the Raiders. They made a trade, got a lot of draft capital, got some kids in Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. But I would have to say in each conference, those are the two most disappointing teams at the midway point. I would say that the feel-good teams at the midway point are the two teams that played today in the NFC. I would have to say the Seattle Seahawks as well as the New York Giants. Definitely two overachievers thus far. Out on the other side, the AFC, when I think about overachievers, teams that are doing things, nobody to me stands out more than probably the New York Jets, even though they got beat today. 5-3 start through 8 weeks. Hell of a start for Robert Saleh's guys, and they do have a chance to be a player in the playoffs. That AFC East 2 through 4 is going to be very tight. Kind of feeling like I got to dig for another surprise out of the AFC, and quite frankly, I don't really see one, so to speak, because it's the usual teams outside of the Jets that are in the playoff mix right now, halfway through. You got your Titans, the Chiefs, the Bills are the class of the conference. Miami Dolphins hit a bit of a bump in the road with the Tua injury. They're now playing better. Pittsburgh Steelers, I think going in, this was a rebuild. Mitch Trubisky was a kind of, I guess you could say, a stopgap. They had the tragic death of Dwayne Haskins. Pickett is getting his opportunity now. So I would say that for Pittsburgh, the expectations weren't high. Normally, they are. So I wouldn't say that they're a disappointment. But yeah, New York Jets, undeniably, definitely the feel-good team of the AFC. And I would say the Giants and Seahawks at the midway point for the NFC. I will keep you guys updated on our next show. We have a very special guest that's going to be on our panel. Looking forward to that. And I'm going to get in the living room and watch some of this game. Maybe the Packers are going to make a game out of this. Until next time, I am Richie, and have a great night, everybody.